Hey, a couple of weeks ago, I taught you about the importance of subject-verb agreement. If you haven't watched this lesson, what are you doing? Maybe pause, I'll put a link up there. But what I want to talk to you today in this mini bonus lesson is about another type of agreement. Because while it's obviously extremely important that your subjects match your verbs in terms of number and person, it's also really important that your determiners match your nouns. Now, don't switch off. You might be panicking and thinking, what is a determiner? Well, trust me, I bet you these are words you already know. They're words like articles or quantifiers and demonstratives. And in this mini lesson, I'm just going to quickly go through the main problems I see as an IELTS teacher and examiner so you can avoid them in your IELTS writing. Are you ready? Let's go. Why don't we start with one of the easiest examples of a determiner by looking at this sentence. Here we have a mistake. Can you find the mistake for me? Yes. The problem here is that we've got the article a, but after a, what type of noun should we always have? A singular noun, right? A banana. A friend, one. However, in this sentence, the student hasn't got a singular noun, they have a plural noun, products. And this is a great example of poor agreement between a determiner, that's the article a, and a noun. If you use an a, that means one, so you must use a singular noun. However, perhaps the trickiest words for students in terms of determiner and noun agreement are the wonderful words this and these. Now, if you have seen my referencing lesson, you will know how powerful the word this is. It's a beautiful word because we can use it to refer back to a whole sentence. For example, in this sentence, people today are consuming more fast food than ever before. We then stop and say, this is having a detrimental effect on people's health. What does this refer to? It's the whole of the previous sentence. Amazing. This is not where students go wrong there. Where students go wrong is when they follow this with a summary noun. Some teachers may call them carrier nouns. Now, this is a great idea because it will increase your score for coherence and cohesion. But if you're going to use a summary noun, so in this sentence, maybe instead of just saying this, how can we describe the previous sentence? What is it? I guess it's a trend. So we could say this trend. Now we must be careful about our agreement because this is always followed by a singular noun. So you must always say this trend or this problem, never this trends with an S or this problems with an S because this is a singular determiner. I don't know why, but many students have this problem, particularly I've noticed if you come from a Russian-speaking country. So if you follow this with a noun, make sure that noun is singular. What happens though if actually you're not referring back to one trend, but I don't know, two trends? For example, in this sentence, house prices have risen dramatically over the last decade, as has the cost of living. Now, we don't have one trend, we've got two. House prices have risen and the cost of living has risen. Therefore, we can't say this trend. Instead, because we've got two trends, we need to say these trends because these is the plural version of this. Please, if you are using this and these in your essays, always check that you have got the right type of noun after these words. If you're struggling to remember which to use, the way I tell my students to remember it is that this has got one vowel the I, so it should have a singular noun. And these has got two vowels, E, therefore it should have a plural noun. The final type of determiner that we're going to look at today are quantifiers. So, for example, in this sentence, we have a word which tells us how many things we have. That's what a quantifier is. What do you think the quantifier is in this sentence? Exactly, it's the word many. Now, the thing about quantifiers is that they're not just followed by singular or plural nouns, they can also sometimes be followed only by uncountable nouns. Some you can only use with one type of noun, so only plural or only uncountable. Some you can use with all. So, is this a good sentence? What does our sentence say here? What's the noun that comes after many? There are many problems today because of the increased use of cars. Do you think that's good? Many problem? Of course it's not. Many is a quantifier that we always use with plural nouns. So to make this sentence correct, we need to say many problems. There are lots of different quantifiers. So rather than me talking, why don't you check your knowledge now? I'm going to show you a number of different quantifiers. I'll put them up on the screen for 5 seconds. What I want you to do is look at the quantifier and think, what type of noun should come after this word? Is it a plural noun? Is it a singular noun? Is it an uncountable noun? And could it be more than one? Because some of our quantifiers are flexible. They can be followed by lots of different nouns, but some of our quantifiers, like many, are not flexible and can only take one. Don't be afraid to pause the video if you need some time to think, but go through them now and check your knowledge. I'm just going to interrupt you because this one is actually very complicated. Let's have a look at this sentence. One of the main reasons for unemployment is an overeducated workforce. What do you think? Is this a good sentence or is this a bad sentence? Well, first of all, I want to draw your attention to the preposition in this sentence. This is something many students make mistakes with, right? If you're going to say reason, make sure you follow it with for, not of. But what about before the for? Do we have a good sentence? Our subject here is one. So should we say one of the reason or one of the reasons, plural? It's the plural. And this is something that confuses many students. But if you think about it, if you're saying that this is one of the reasons, there must be more than one reason, right? It can't be one of the reasons if there's only one. So if you say one of the, make sure you always follow that with a plural noun. One of the problems, one of the reasons, one of the solutions. If you remove of the, you could just say one reason. Now the singular would be good, right? Because now we're not saying it's one of many reasons, it's just one reason. But this is the mistake that I see again and again. So go back, check your essays. If you've been making this mistake, please change it, because to be honest, it's a simple mistake, but it is very damaging for your grammatical range and accuracy scores. So those are the rules for determiner and noun agreement. In my opinion, the only way that students improve is doing, not watching. So what I'm going to do now is give you a chance to practice. In a moment, I'm going to disappear and 6 sentences will appear on the board. I just want you to look at the sentence and identify and correct the error. Obviously, if you write them in the comments, I will come and I will check them for you. We will always answer every comment. But if you're not sure what the problem is, go back and look at the lesson. You will definitely find the answer there. So, what have we learned in this video? We have learnt that just as subject-verb agreement is important, so is determiner-noun agreement. If you have a singular determiner like a or this, make sure you have a singular noun that follows it. And if you're using a quantifier, so a word like some, many, much, a lot, make sure you know which quantifiers match to which types of noun. And if you do that, you'll get all types of agreement right on your exam day and you will be sailing towards a 7. If you found this lesson useful, please hit like and subscribe. There are new lessons every Friday. You can also go to our main website where you'll find links to all of our blog posts, our podcast episodes, and our free video library that starts our video course. And I'll be back next week for an absolutely brand new lesson. I'm Shelly, and this is my IELTS classroom. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you found the content useful, please click like to help the channel, and don't forget to subscribe for new lessons every Friday. Plus, you can find more expert content at www.myieltsclassroom.com.